Quick question before we get into this. If you had to guess, what percentage of homes in this country do you think baby boomers actually own? Take a second. Really think of a number. Because you know what? Whatever number that you just landed on, I promise you it's higher. And once you hear the real one, you're going to understand exactly why the housing market has felt so broken for the last few years. And more importantly, what's about to happen next. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to know something that most agents and most buyers in this country don't. So here's the real number. Canadian boomers own roughly 41% of all homes in this country. That's about 6.5 million properties, and 2/3 of those are owned completely mortgage-free. Now, sit with that for a second. That means that there's no bank forcing a sale, no payment pressure, no urgency. These homes move only when the owner decides to move or when they pass away. And here's the stat that should really stop you. 54% of all single and semi-detached homes in this country, the exact family homes that young buyers are desperate for, are owned by people 55 and older. So when people ask, why can't I find a house that fits my family? This is the answer. It's not that houses don't exist, it's that an entire generation is sitting on them. Now, here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part that almost nobody is talking about. Stats Canada projects that by 2029, that's not far away, by the way, deaths in this country will outpace births for the first time in Canadian history. And that gap doesn't shrink after that, it actually grows every single year. What does that actually mean for housing? It means that this isn't some future event that we're waiting on. It's already started. It's just moving slower than everyone expected. Quick gut check. Comment below. Did you know that stat? Because I guarantee most people watching this had no idea. So now the obvious question, does this mean prices are about to crash? Short answer, not exactly, and not fast. There's a growing amount of research pushing back on the idea of some sudden flood of homes hitting the market all at once. Why? Because boomers today are healthier than any generation before them. They're staying in their homes longer. A lot of them are passing property directly to their kids instead of listing it. And real downsizing, that tends to start closer to 75 years old, not 65. So what we're actually looking at isn't a tidal wave, it's a slow leak. And that slow leak adds up to millions of homes over the next 2 decades. So here's how I'd break it down where this actually shows up first. Homes in retirement regions or areas far from major job centers, those are going to sit longer. Sellers are going to have to cut prices to actually move them. Homes close to major employment hubs, those hold their value because there will always be buyers who need to be near their work. And then there's the debt problem. Gen X and millennials are already carrying 6 figures in household debt before a mortgage even enters their picture. So even when more homes do become available, a huge chunk of buyers simply won't be able to be in a position to take advantage of it, not without a real plan. And that's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say out loud. More supply does not automatically mean more affordability, not unless buyers actually know what they're doing. And this is where I want to challenge something that you've probably heard 100 times, that we have a housing shortage in this country. We don't have a shortage of homes. We have a shortage of homes that are actually affordable to the people who need them. That's a completely different problem, and it requires a completely different solution. This imbalance is going to keep shaping who buys, where prices soften, and where they hold firm for the next 20 years. This is actually the market that you're operating in, whether you've accepted that fact or not. Okay, here's the part most people miss completely. This isn't just a warning. This is one of the biggest opportunities in Canadian real estate in decades. If you're a buyer, especially someone earlier in your journey, this is where I want you to be leaning in and not tuning out. That mispriced deferred maintenance, awkwardly located boomer inventory that's sitting on the market, that's exactly where tomorrow's value gets created. But only for buyers who actually know how to evaluate a property properly. Not just by curb appeal, but by the numbers underneath it. Now, if you're an agent watching this, this is for you. So listen closely, because this shift isn't a single event that you can time. It's going to keep producing estate sales, inherited properties, multi-generational transactions, and value-add homes for years. And the agents who win in that environment are not the ones who can open a lockbox and read a listing sheet. They're the ones who can sit across from a family who just inherited a house, a boomer figuring out about downsizing, or a first-time buyer priced out of the normal path, and actually run the real numbers with them. So what does this property earn as a rental? What does a duplex conversion change? What does a live-in and flip or a house hack do to someone's 5-year financial position? Most agents were never trained for any of those conversations because most agent training was built for a market that does not even exist anymore. And that's exactly the gap the real estate investment specialist training was built to close. The real estate investment specialist designation exists because get more listings stopped being a complete answer the moment that this market started shifting under everyone's feet. Agents need to be able to have the financial conversation, not just the transaction conversation. And I want to be really clear about something because I don't want this to come across as a pitch for the sake of a pitch. This isn't about turning every agent into an investor specialist just because it sounds good on a business card. That is not the point at all. The point is this: the market is already forcing this shift. Whether you're ready for it or not, it's happening. The only real question left is whether you get ahead of it or whether you spend the next 5 years reacting to it. So here's where I will leave you. The wave is real. It's just slower and more even than the headlines want you to believe. And that slowness is actually the opportunity because it gives you time to prepare if you choose to use it. So let me know in the comments, where are you seeing this play out first in your market? Are prices already softening where you are? Are you seeing more inherited estate listings than usual? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and I'll pull the best ones into another video. If this was useful, please hit subscribe because we're covering this shift every single week as it unfolds. And if you're an agent who wants to actually be ready for what's coming instead of being caught off guard by it, the link to the Real Estate Investment Specialist training is in the description. I'll see you in the next one.